Hi there, it's Wise here, and I'm once again bringing all of you some wise words. How are you guys? I know that you're doing well. I know that you're starting to feel this terrific energy that I'm trying to give you guys every time I bring you guys a video. So, I hope that this one doesn't let you down for what you came here for. And what it is you came here for was some intellectual conversation. And so let's get into it. I wanted to talk about something very important. It's a subject that I touched on a previous video not too long ago, where I had expressed how this could help you in your maturation process as far as it goes with spiritual maturity, intellectual maturity, psychological and physical maturity. But I only kind of touched on it for a very brief moment, not nearly enough of what I thought it was worth to talk about this subject. So here we go. We are going to talk about the pineal gland, or in Vedic or text and Sanskrit, the Ajna chakra. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because a lot of people hear about the pineal gland, hear that it's calcified, they don't know what to do about decalcifying the pineal gland, they don't even know what the pineal gland does or what it's for. So I just wanted to give a little bit of clarity about it so people can have a little bit more of a good background on it so they can research it for themselves, even look on ways that they can strengthen their pineal gland or completely decalcify it and become, I don't know, the highest vibrational brain you could possibly be. And I'm telling you, raising your vibration, like I said before, it'll do tremendous things for you. So let's get into it, why don't we? The pineal gland. In your body, there are 7 major glands. So you got the pineal gland, you got the thyroid gland, the thymus gland, your pancreatic gland. You also have your adrenal glands that sit on the back or sit on top of your kidneys. You have your sexual glands. How many was that? That's thymus, thyroid, sexual, pancreas, adrenal. There's 2 more. The endocrine gland, but the endocrine system. And I'm forgetting one, but the biggest thing is that they are all dictated and governed by the pineal gland. The pineal gland sits basically at the center of the brain. A lot of people refer to it as the third eye. I refer to it as the first eye. If you've ever read any ancient scripts about Cyclops or magicians that had a third eye that they would focus on, this eye was actually what they used to manifest their alchemical or magical powers in some elks, in something. And then the Cyclops, if you've ever read about the Cyclops had, a lot of people heard about the Cyclops or know about Cyclops, the X-Man, or whatever. But the traditional Cyclops was a one-eyed being, and this was their original eye. And they, some Cyclops had the other 2 eyes, but they would keep them closed just to keep the third eye open and focus on that. And the reason they did that was they said that their third eye gave them powers to see people's auric clouds or even into the future of some people. And what the third eye was a reflection of the pineal gland outward. So there's a lot of different stories you can read about it. And like I always say, research it for yourself. All this stuff really interests me, but it's not going to really drive home until you guys research it for yourself. So anyways, I was getting off story there. I was just telling you a little bit about how the third eye came to be such a esoteric, almost occultic type of word or even connotation. But truth be told, everybody has a pineal gland. It has very similar, or very marked similarities to the eye. So it has vitreous humor, it has a cortex, it also has an outer shell, an outer membrane that's very similar to the outer shell or the outer membrane of the eye, the cornea and the retina and things like that. So it also helps pick up and receive light images and messages. But besides all that, like I said, it also governs the other 6 major glands in your body. So it keeps things going, it keeps the adrenaline going, it keeps the pancreas going with the insulin that it produces, making sure that you can metastasize and metabolize all of the sugars in your body that you take in. And so the pineal gland is very, very important. A lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people don't know about glands in general. So I just wanted to get this message out there so people can have an idea. Oh, a little tear there. Cold out here this morning. Just a little bit of an idea on how they can strengthen their glands, because ultimately your glands are going to dictate how your life is. They release different chemicals and endorphins throughout your lifetime to your body, whether it's testosterone, whether it's estrogen. There's tons of different things that the glands really dictate, that if you don't take care of them, then they can get out of whack and you can develop things like diabetes, or some people even get sickle cell anemia or cancer. There's tons of terrible things that can happen once your glands get out of whack. But if you start by paying attention to your pineal gland, the Ajna chakra, there are tons of things that will come from or benefit from doing it. One, you'll be able to sleep better. You'll have higher not estrogen. You'll have higher releases of serotonin and dopamine into your bloodstream just from decalcifying your pineal gland. Also, studies have shown that it can reduce the risk of heart disease and other types of cardiovascular diseases. So there's innumerable benefits, like I always say, with all these things that I mentioned to you guys. And like I always say, research them for yourself. But in speaking about the pineal gland, you always hear that it's calcified. You always hear that there are things out there, there are tons of agendas that are geared towards calcifying the pineal gland. I believe the main reason for that is, if you believe about these agendas, is that the pineal gland helps you access your psychic ability, or gives you access to maybe a telekinetic world. We are all interconnected. Studies have been proven now unequivocally from CERN's Hadron Collider Research Institution that said that we are part of a multi-universe, that there are tons of different universes out there, and we're only barely separated by a hair's breadth. If you were to think about it, the space between atoms, if you were to take the space from an atom, or the center of an atom, so the nucleus of an atom, to the electron cloud, it would be virtually, if you took it and made it the size, made the nucleus of the atom the size of the Earth, the electron cloud would be somewhere out towards Saturn. That's how far apart, that's how much space they believe is between the nucleus and the electron cloud of an atom. With that being said, the reason that they believe that there are multiple universes is that nothing can occupy the same space at the same time. Even when you're touching, you're technically not touching. It's really just a repulsion of the electrons between the two sets of whatever the things that you are touching. With that being said, the pineal gland will help you access those other dimensions. Now, you can take that with a grain of salt if you want. You can read up in ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt, the Black Land, or whatever you want to call it. You can look in ancient Greece, ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Sumeria. All of them spoke about the third eye, the seat of life, somehow how it was related into connecting with other worlds. And so what I believe now, what's going on today, is that there's an agenda to make sure that you can't access this telekinetic power, these psychokinetic powers, these interconnected powers that animals use, that plants use, that I'm sure even planets, if you don't believe that planets have a soul or an essence, then why is it that we call it Mother Earth, or why is it that we call it Father Son? I believe that once you access the power of your pineal gland, then you can start accessing the power of those other things that I'm speaking about. You'll be able to start feeling that interconnectedness. But by keeping it calcified, you keep yourself separated. You almost keep yourself, I like to say, uninformed, unaware to your surroundings about things that are going on. Now, I'm not trying to say that in slight to anybody that's watching this video, but it's the truth. So you just think about how many times a day that you're not in the present moment, in the present situation, where you're thinking about something that you need to do afterwards, or something that you've done before that could have been done better. Once you start accessing the power of your pineal gland or the Ajna chakra, whatever it is that you want to refer to it, you really start becoming more concerned about the present moment, because you realize that everything happens in the present moment. Everything happens right now. So once you start realizing that, and you open your pineal gland, you start noticing everything around you. Start noticing the beautiful leaves, the birds, the bees, the flowers, the animals. Just there's tons of different things that you start to notice, that you start really to take in, that you took for granted before. At least I do. I see things that a lot of people don't see. When I describe them to them, they're like, oh, I wish I could see the world through your eyes. Well, it's easy. All you have to do is take the time and the effort to decalcify your pineal gland. So I've been speaking about it now for a couple of minutes. Let me tell you how to do it. A couple ways. One, I always say meditation. There's tons of different meditations out there. Get on YouTube, just type in meditation, mindfulness meditation, Taoistic meditation, just I said mindfulness meditation. You can even look into pranayama, things like that. There's tons of different, but meditation is going to be one of the best ways. You can also do things like exercise. Exercise really will, for one, it increases endocrine levels, and also increases your cardiovascular strength, and increases your your self-worth, or how you feel about yourself. But not only just that, it does help to get oxygen to the brain, which in turn will help decalcify your pineal gland. Tremendous benefits from exercise. Number 3, I always tell people this: I am on a vegan diet. I know that's not for a lot of people. I challenge people to even just try a plant-based diet for 3 to 7 days. Anything like that. I challenge you to do it. But it will work wonders for you. Now, I know some people are hard to give up red meat because they're addicted to it. They don't even realize how much they're addicted to the meats and the milk and things like that. But once you give it up and you realize, you start taking a little bit more control of your life, you start feeling lighter. It's a karma-free diet which you start participating in. And I'm telling you, it works wonders. Orangutans are vegetarians or vegans. Bull, bison, some of the strongest animals on the planet. Not lions and tigers, but what are we going to do about it? I'm not lying. Number 4, get out into the sun. Receiving light energy into your eyes is one of the best things you could do for yourself. Like, our skin is always taking in light energy, our eyes are always taking in light energy, we're taking in sound energy, but to get as much sunlight as you possibly can without harming yourself is tremendous. Now, I happen to live in a place that we get about 340 days plus of sunlight a year, so I'm constantly outside. I love the outdoors. I'm hiking, I'm biking, I'm rock climbing, I'm doing all sorts of crazy stuff, but I'm always outdoors, which helps me keep this magnificent glow. But with that being said, a lot of people don't get enough vitamin D from, being out in the sun. Your eyes really need that sunlight. So if you let that into your eyes, it'll actually help your third eye, which in turn will help decalcify your pineal gland. And number 5, this one I think really hits home with a lot of people. Get the fluorine out of your water. Plain and simple. You can believe what you want about fluoridated water if you go to other countries, but we lived for millions, if not hundreds of thousands of years, without fluorine in our water. And you look at the dental records of any of the Paleolithical past, like any epochs you want to go to, we had great teeth, absolutely tremendous teeth, great bone structure, great bone density, with no fluorine in our water. Now, in the 1950s and 1960s, when they started, in the 1940s, whatever, when they started putting fluorine into the waters, there was an agenda to help people out with, osteoporosis and things like that, where they were afraid about people having low bone density. But nowadays, where you can get calcium, you can get a calcium pill, you can make sure that your bones are dense. But putting fluorine in your water, which nowadays they actually put a chemical compound, which is a hazardous waste material byproduct of making fertilizer and other things. It's called hydrofluoric acid. And if you want to look it up. You can find out. Actually, the government has to tell you what they're putting into your water. So if you want to go to your local water, sewage, and or waste treatment plant, they will let you look at what it is they're putting into your water. By law, they have to. And once you do some research on it, you find out that this is not good. Same thing that happened up in Flint, Michigan not too long ago. They changed the water table. They changed where they were getting the water from, and ultimately it made a lot of people sick, and they were getting terrible water. Now, I'm not saying it's like that everywhere, but studies have shown that anywhere between 35 to 40% of the water tables in this nation have been contaminated to the point that people could get sick, or over long terms of drinking their water will get sick. So with that being said, try to defluoridate your water. Get a reverse osmosis water filter. A Brita won't do the trick. I like the Brita, but it won't do the trick. That's just like a secondary thing. Like, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. You got to get a reverse osmosis water filter. If you can't afford one, or you're just living in an apartment and you don't want to slink that into the apartment, go ahead, go out, go to Whole Foods, go to your local farmer's market, and get high pH level water of 7 or plus, 7, 10, anything you can get between 7 and 10 is really good. And what it will do is alkalize the body, which will help get all those heavy metals out, like the calcium that's calcifying your pineal gland. And the last one that I mentioned, the getting the fluorine out of your water, that will go one or tremendous ways to do a bunch of other things in your life too. I mean, I can make a whole video just about getting the fluorine out of your water. But I wanted to give you guys this information, like always, so you can research it for yourself. I mean, I'm excited about this type of stuff, and I want to get you guys excited about it, at least enough to the point where you research it and see how you can implement anything that I'm saying in your daily life. But guys, I didn't want this video to run too long. I know I rambled on a little bit there, but I wanted to give you this information so you can get out there and look into it yourself. But as always, I want to wish each and every one of you infinite love, infinite peace,